One Take Wine. We're back. It's a Wednesday, midweek edition. But oh no, Thursday. But it's a holiday, so a lot of my clients are taking the Friday off and the Thursday off. I think I will join them in that endeavor, and that means I'm going to open some wine. The first of which, what do we got in the glass this time? We're going to talk some white. There's a beautiful lemon, some oyster shell, a bit of burnt caramel, just a hint of that, and some butter. You want to guess where we are? Wow. It's gonna. When I say that burnt caramel, it's more like a muskiness of some kind somehow. It's something that is probably not. It's not as steely and adroit or sitting up as strongly as it could. It is a little bit advanced in a way without being old. Not a really great description either. Let me see, how else could I put this? Well, I mean, it's like that popcorn sensation you might get in some Chardonnays, but as if you'd added some sugar and burnt it just at the tiniest edges of things. So, or hazelnutted it. It's the hazelnut, sweet hazelnut type thing kind of happening. But also very saline, very or even more instead of saline, I would say ocean-like or beach-like. Some nice sort of sun-baked seaside with a little bit of seaweed that's kind of rotted along the shoreline. Oh, but this is an oyster wine right here, which is weird. Okay. I'm not going to hold you in suspense too much longer here. Meursault Santenots. Marquis d'Angerville. I think it's Angerville instead of Angerville. I'll say d'Angerville. And it's a very, very fine producer of Burgundy wines from south of, in the south part of Coteau. I really like their wines normally. I've never tried a white, so this made it was perfect. This came up, it was in my feed. It wasn't cheap, but I'd never seen it before, so I didn't even know they were doing it. And it was a Premier Cru, and I was a little bit worried about that because when you look at the label, there's nothing there to indicate it. But Santenots, you think, should be a Premier Cru, even if it's white. And yeah, it is in green up here. So, super duper, I have to say, really great. It has that so, you know where else I got that sort of caramelized hazelnut hint, and that was in this also from the same vintage. This is 2019, which is not a great white wine vintage, right? And the other one I got was also in a 2019, half bottles of this Bourret, I think they were called. I'd never heard of them either before. They're Meursaults. But there it was more pronounced, and it was a flabbier wine as well. So the 19 was terrible from them, or that bottle was terrible, one or the other, because the other bottles on either end, the vintages on either side of that, were great, or at least they were clean and mineral and precise, and a little longer, and they were doing what I would expect a good Meursault to do. This is doing what a good Meursault is expected to do, and it's doing what a good Premier Cru, I think that's important, should do as well. It's very fishy. It's very marine. Saline was not the right word. It's also very inducing of the salivation here in the back part of the palate. Not super long, kind of trails off fairly quickly, and it doesn't have persistence. And I think that is either age of vines or vintage or a combination thereof. For all I know, these are old vines. I don't know. I'm just making this stuff up as I go, but yeah, that's kind of what I would guess. Other than that, it's like a very complete wine, except for that maybe little brown butter hazelnut component that is maybe a little bit higher than it should be. The beach stuff, the marine stuff, I like a lot. I like that in my wine. So yeah, really interesting. I've never had a Meursault Santenots. That's number one. I've never had a Meursault or white wine, any kind of white wine from Marquis, which is a high-class producer. That's number two. So I think super success for me. That's it for this holiday edition. Might open some wines. If I do, I'll save a glass. I'll do it tomorrow. Probably on the weekend we'll have some more. Until then, stay thirsty.